to kind of have that almost exhausted feel, but that is really helpful in letting me have a satisfying, restful night of sleep when it comes to bedtime. Hey everyone, welcome back to today's episode of the Hyla Home. Here we talk about motherhood, natural living, and homemaking, which includes renovating our 1940s house. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my nighttime routine specifically for times when I'm having trouble falling asleep. Throughout my life I've struggled with some variation of insomnia, and then obviously with pregnancy and breastfeeding and co-sleeping, I've also had a variety of different phases in my life where I have had trouble sleeping. So today I'm going to be talking about my routine that I do in the evenings, plus some tips for what I do if I am struggling to fall asleep at night or getting up multiple times in the night that help me go to sleep. So with that aside, let's get started. So my nightly routine, as a mom, I'm pretty much the one that 90% of the time puts my children to bed. Now that's not to say that my husband doesn't sometimes do that as well. He does, but a lot of the times he's working on the house or trying to get things done in the house, so I take on that responsibility so that he can work on those sorts of things. Thing is, I sit in a dark room rocking my son while my daughter lays in her crib listening to white noise. And I am not someone who easily falls asleep or gets sleepy. That puts me to sleep. That makes me quite sleepy. And just the rocking back and forth, the dark light and the white noise is very soothing. And it definitely creates an environment conducive for sleep. So my bedtime routine pretty much starts there, because after all of the children are down and ready for the night, I'm spending anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour in there, which is prepping my body for sleep. Now afterwards, I like to brush my teeth, and if I feel so inclined, I'll like to wash my face. I don't necessarily like doing these steps after doing the bedtime routine with my children, just because typically my body is so prepped for sleep and I pretty much could just crawl into my own bed and fall asleep immediately, and these steps sort of wake me up. But I'm at the phase of my life where I don't necessarily struggle with sleep problems anymore. The times when I do, however, I would do those things before putting my kids down for bed and then spend those 10 minutes to an hour sitting in their room with the white noise rocking in a dark environment. The other thing I do when it comes to my bedtime routine is I turn on a fan even if it's kind of colder, because that cool air gives me a feeling that makes me ready for sleep. Just it makes me want to get under the covers and it helps me relax. I don't know if that's the case for everybody. That's definitely something I do. We have linen sheets and a linen duvet cover. I really feel like that has been helpful in our sleep. Don't know that is the case for everyone. For me, it's super luxurious. I know it's not for everybody, but I do know that if you have polyester sheets, that is actually plastic, and so plastic isn't great for your body anyway. So even if you could just do cotton or maybe even rayon or bamboo would help give you a better quality of sleep versus just sleeping on polyester sheets. And the reason is, besides all the conspiracies about the frequency and all that, is it's breathable, it's comfortable, it doesn't irritate your skin, and all of those things are going to promote a better sleep for you. So for us, we have linen. A lot of times if the linen sheets are dirty, we'll use cotton, and we don't have a top sheet. So it's just the fitted sheet, our cotton muslin blanket, and the duvet and the linen duvet cover. I always try to go to bed with a glass of water, because if I'm struggling with sleep, the one thing I don't want to have to do in the middle of the night is get up and go downstairs to get myself a glass of water. I often wake up, especially with nursing, with my mouth being completely dry, and so if I can just have a full glass of water next to my nightstand at bedtime, then I don't have to worry about needing to get up and go all the way downstairs, which is going to wake me back up. The other thing I like to do, which is just a personal thing as I have long hair, is I like to make sure my hair is up either in a curling sash for the night or a braid, just because my hair can get really hot and sticky and matted very quickly while I'm sleeping, and that just drives me nuts and it irritates me and it makes me feel uncomfortable. And if I'm struggling with sleep, I want to minimize all my discomforts as much as possible so that I'm not waking up and messing with my sleep. And then lastly, a lot of the times what I like to wear to bed, which just helps me with my sleep, is a tight fitted shirt and shorts. In the reason I like a tight fitted shirt is because I notice if I wear like a really loose nightgown or a really baggy top that doesn't have a lot of give to it, is it gets wrapped up and twisted in the middle of the night, which in turn just makes me more and more uncomfortable. So wearing something that's going to be very comfortable for you for bed really helps. This is not the time to style. This is not the time to look great. For me, because I'm nursing, I have 3 cotton and spandex nursing shirts that are long sleeves. They're very comfortable. I can have my arms out over the covers and not get cold. And they aren't super loose or baggy, so they're not getting twisted in the middle of the night. The other thing I have is just very boxy, loose linen t-shirts by Flax. I get those off of eBay. People are pretty much reselling them all the time. And I just wear those at night because they're super flowy and they're easy to nurse in. And then as far as shorts, a lot of the times I like to do like biker shorts because they can't get twisted in the middle of the night. Definitely don't like going to bed with joggers, super loose workout shorts or anything like that because they will get twisted, and then in turn, if I'm struggling with sleep, I will be woken up by that and then have to readjust everything, and then I will be awake and not really be able to go to sleep. If I'm really struggling with a couple of days of not sleep, then what I will do before going to bed also is take a bath or a shower. And that not only helps me feel clean, but it also, there is an effect that happens in the body when you go from a very warm environment to a cool environment, which actually makes you more sleepy and lethargic. So if you can take a warm shower or bath and then come into your cool bedroom and go to sleep, that will actually help transition you to sleep a little bit quicker than if you just went straight to bed. Now, I'm going to share some of the tips on top of my bedtime routine, which really help me when I'm struggling with going down for the night. So the first thing that's probably pretty obvious, and if you watch any other YouTube video or read any blog article on insomnia or sleep problems, the first thing they're going to tell you is to put your phone away at night, at least an hour before you go to bed. And of course, that is going to be my first recommendation to you as well, because the blue light from your phone screen causes your levels of melatonin in your body to not produce, which in turn makes you not sleepy, and so that keeps you awake and actually prevents you from going to sleep. An interesting fact is that the sun in the morning creates some blue light, which actually helps you wake up in the morning, and so when your phone is emitting that blue light and it's so much more powerful and direct right there, especially if you hold your phone close to your face, definitely going to interfere with your sleep. So I recommend an hour before bed, if you're really struggling with going down for the night, put your phone aside, or at the bare minimum, turn on the warm filter lighting on your phone screen so that at least the screen is very warm and emits more of a red/yellow light as opposed to so much blue light. The other thing you can do also, if you have to work or maybe you can't set your phone aside, is wearing some blue light glasses. All of these things are going to definitely help, but nothing is going to be as beneficial as setting your phone aside completely. The other reason I recommend setting your phone aside is because social media is an anxiety inducer, and if you are scrolling Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or other social media platforms right before bed, if you're reading the news, all of these are going to spike your anxiety to some level and cause you to be a little bit on edge when you go down for the night, and that obviously isn't going to help you sleep at all. So if you have to be on your phone, maybe putting screen timers or setting limits for yourself that prohibit you from going to those apps, especially later in the day, will definitely help as well. You won't be as eager to check Instagram or Facebook or TikTok. You won't have any sort of anxiety about maybe comments that were written or something you have to respond to. Just setting it aside can help minimize your stress at the end of the day, which in turn will give you better sleep. So obviously my biggest and first tip is just put your phone away before going down for nighttime. The other thing I really recommend is drinking a lot of water. I noticed that this happens with my daughter and has been a very consistent thing with me. If I can go to bed very hydrated, I will sleep much better. Now, the flip side of this is likely you'll have to wake up in the middle of the night to use the restroom if you're a little bit older or pregnant, or if you're like me, as soon as the morning hits, you'll have to use the restroom. So that's the only downside about this, but I find that it really helps just kind of give me a full effect, like making me feel like I'm full, and it just puts me to sleep. And then I'm able to sleep with longer stretches too, because I'm not waking up so often to get water. I think I'm probably dehydrated most of the day, so when it comes to nighttime, by the end of the day, my throat can be pretty dry. So for me, water is essential. I'll try to get between 16 and 32 ounces drunk right at the end of the day before going to bed, and then making sure that I have at least 16 ounces by my bedside, just in case I wake up in the middle of the night and need something to drink. The other thing, which is kind of on top of that, is make sure you've had a full meal. If you're going to bed hungry, that is not going to help you sleep at all. Our biggest meal for our entire family is at the end of the day, and we always do some sort of meat, either a huge plate of fish or red meat. For you who can't eat meat because of a medical condition, I would just prioritize eating a lot of your protein at this time and making sure you feel full, not just no longer hungry, but full before going to bed. So for me, for dinner time, I will eat until I feel full and definitely like I can't eat anymore. And then I'll go to bed feeling very full, and that helps me go to sleep as well. Another one, which actually I don't know that a lot of people recommend, but would be kind of with the full meal thing, is eat a lot of carbs. Not like a lot of carbs, but just if you're gonna eat carbs, eat them at the end of the day, because not only do carbs cause you to be tired because it takes longer for your body to digest them, and because they kind of give you the sugar rush effect where you have a peak of energy and then you kind of crash from it. But carbs also make you feel full. So you'll be going to bed with like a fuller feeling. Now, the caveat is you can wake up really hungry if you don't actually eat the correct protein and nutrients that you need. So if you're going to eat a bunch of carbs, and I say a bunch, not like a ton, but make sure you eat them after you've had your meal part. That way you know you've gotten in what you need to actually be satisfied. One thing I did, especially during pregnancy when I was waking up all the time, was stretching right before going to bed. This is especially good if you can take a shower, because then your muscles will be warmer anyway, so stretching is much easier. But stretching right before bed really helps kind of get your blood flow enough to where you feel comfortable going down for bed, but tired enough to kind of have that almost exhausted feel, but not really. It's a good exhausted. It like wears you out without wearing you out, if that makes sense. I find that super helpful. That's like my go-to if I'm really struggling, is just take 10 minutes, do some very light stretches, and then go to bed. If you're curious about what stretches you should do, just search easy yoga stretches on YouTube. You can find dozens of them. That's what I always do. But essentially, the hamstring stretch, child's pose is a really good one. Anyone that incorporates your back or your shoulder muscles is good also. And maybe even if you want to take it a step further, like a very light plank. But I think that's pushing it. Just light stretches that don't really exert yourself too much, but do kind of wear you out from that last little bit of nervous energy in your body and help you go to sleep. Obviously, like I mentioned with my nighttime routine, I set it in a dark room with white noise, rocking, so you can also create that same environment for yourself in your bedroom by turning off the lights, making sure they're low if you have to have some sort of light on, and then also running a fan or maybe some white noise on your phone. That definitely creates that environment as well. The last few tips are really helpful, but they actually take place at the beginning of the day, not necessarily at the end of the day. So it wouldn't be a nighttime routine, it would just be a lifestyle thing. Getting vitamin D outside really helps balance your hormones in your body for nighttime and sleep. So a lot of the times I sleep best in the summer and spring months when we're outside the most, and I'm soaking up that vitamin D. I noticed that change with my children too, that they sleep really well, especially during nap time, if we can get some outside time earlier in the day. And then similarly, if my day is very full and feels satisfying and productive, that is really helpful too in helping me go down for bed, because a lot of the times the things that keep me up is the constant to-do list / me feeling like I really didn't get enough done. So if I can just be very busy and use my day to the fullest and get the things done that were most important to me, that is really helpful in letting me have a satisfying, restful night of sleep when it comes to bedtime. So those two things. And if you're struggling with figuring out how to manage your day and get all the things done, because in theory we don't actually get everything done, we just get some things done, you can check out my video about my 7 tips of how to get everything done. I'll try to remember to link it in the description below. I know I'm really bad about doing that because I'll say it in the video and then I never actually do it, but I'll try to. If you search it, you should be able to find it too. That has really helped me and has probably been the biggest thing that has helped me with my sleep, because before my days were very limited, my lifestyle was very sedentary and indoor, and I slept horribly. Even though I got a lot of things done, I didn't feel productive. And so the key is getting outside and then also feeling productive. If you don't feel productive, that's kind of the key here. That's more of a lifestyle change, and obviously that's not something I can cover in a short video, but just knowing that that's kind of where the heart of a lot of the sleep issues, at least for me, came from. Maybe that can kind of help you shift gears and figure out how you can get to the core problem. Well, I hope that was helpful for you. Thank you so much for hopping on to today's video. You all have blessed days. I really appreciate everyone who's subscribed. We're so close to 100 subscribers. This was my goal, was to get to 100 subscribers before the middle of May, so let's see if we can do it. Thank you all so much for joining me today. Y'all have a great day. God bless. Bye.